Good afternoon, old gun guy here. Today's video, I got the idea when I was doing the CZ video, and I shot a ballistic soft body armor panel with the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. I decided to do a video on 40-year-old body armor panels that I happen to have. They were my first vest that I was issued when I first came on the police department in 1985. I wore a vest from the day I went on the job in 85 to the day I retired in 2018, 33 years later. So the soft Kevlar soft body armor and some of the other fibers that have come out with since have saved countless lives of cops and civilians, people working in jewelry stores were robbed and shot and survived because they were wearing body armor. My initial introduction, the microphone failed, and it was outside, the introductory to this video, so I have to reshoot the whole thing all over again. So that's what I'm doing now. I did the shooting part already, so I obviously know what's going to entail. I'm going to use common handgun rounds to test the vest, but first I'll go into a little brief history of the soft body armor. Body armor has been around for hundreds of years. Usually metal plates, even breastplates back to hoplite warriors with the Greeks and the Roman Empire. Metal armor, plate armor, all the way through the Middle Ages. It wasn't until like the 20th century, the advent of soft body armor, and interestingly enough, it was really first developed or invented by a Catholic priest who spent about 15 years of his life pursuing the perfect weave of fibers, and he found out that silk, which is very strong, weaved a certain way, he could make ballistic panels that would stop handgun projectiles. And he donned the vest and was shot by someone with it, tested out before he released it to anybody. That was the beginning. In the 20s and 30s, the gangster era there, and the Prohibition era, there was soft, vest, body armor in use. Not as widespread as later on or today. Fast forward 50s and 60s, Vietnam War, they issued the soldiers flak vests, which were heavy vests with nylon panels. Now, nylon is another synthetic fiber that's pretty strong. But they were rated to stop fragments from like hand grenades or I guess shrapnel from mortars or something at a distance. Not a big chunk, but little fragments. Not rated to stop bullets. They were hot and heavy, and a lot of the troops discarded them because they really weren't of much use. In the mid-60s, a female chemist working for DuPont discovered Kevlar, a synthetic fiber, aramid fiber, and it's been widely used in soft, bullet-resistant soft body armor. The armor we're going to discuss today is only for handgun rounds. That's soft body armor. When you get into rifle rounds, any rifle round that goes for any soft body armor, regardless of the rating, and even at the low end of the rifle scale, punch clean through. They were designed to stop handgun projectiles, and they've saved many police officers' lives and other people's lives. The purpose of this is to demonstrate something that expired 35 years ago, because the vest manufacturers, I think, warranty their product for 5 years, and they have to do. Okay, like I said, I have the manufacturers have an expiration date on their body armor, about 5 years, and they have to put that some type of a limit where they guarantee the product. After that's not guaranteed. Does it mean it won't work if it's 10 years old or 15 years old? If it's stored and taken care of properly, it should work. The tests I'll do today are not scientific. There's not a lab. It's just a demonstration on a piece of 40-year-old body armor that I wore for about 7 years. My class that come on in 85, there's 66 of us from the police department, were the first class that the city had applied for a federal grant that purchased body armor for the new officers and reissued them, and they were point blank vests, the carrier and the ballistic Kevlar panels inside the carrier. You know, obviously you take the the panels out of the carrier and wash the carrier every week or so. But this is level one body armor. I don't know if you see how thin it is. On the old National Institutes of Justice standards, and we issued 2 front panels and 2 back panels. The 2 panels together, each one was level 1, but together they were rated at 2A. And these are classifications that the National Institutes of Justice, with their testing, come out with. They come out with a regime: level 1, level 2A, level 2, and then level 3A. And that's it for the soft body armor. And it basically was rated for certain projectiles and certain velocities. It was rated to stop. And the other requirement criteria was when the panel was on a clay block, it could be no more than 44 millimeters of back deformation after the projectile struck into the clay, which is about 1 3/4 inches. Steps beyond that, there's a potential for injuring your organs or causing your own injury. It's still better than getting a bullet into your internal organs. The projectile stopped, like getting hit with a large hammer there. But that's the rating. These level 1 panels, I have the old NIJ rating: 22 long rifle at 1,080 feet a second, 388 CP, 95 grain bullet at 1,050, and 38 special 158 grain round nose projectile at 850 feet a second. And that was level 1. 2A, when you put the 2 panels together, this is actually a back panel. This is the front panel. Because I lost the other front panel, I know where it is, I had to use a back panel when I do the tests. So this level 1 panel will be behind the level 1 front panel. And but the National Institutes of Justice issued many requirements and adjustments over the years, and they finally simplified things. Basically, there's 2 standards now: handgun level 1, which is 124 grain 9mm at 1,305 feet a second, and 357 Magnum 158 at 1,300 feet a second. And that basically mimics the 1 and 2A old ratings on the vest. And handgun level 2 is 44 Magnum and 9mm of a submachine gun, like 1,470 feet a second, high velocity. That's handgun level 2. And that would be the old 3A standard, for anybody that knows what I'm talking about there. But that was the National Institutes of Justice's ratings. Like I said, we reissued this, and from the day I went on the job till 33 years later when I retired, I wore a vest every day. Initially, these phased out pretty quick, the level 1 panels. Basically designed if you wanted a lightweight vest that would give you some ballistic protection but wouldn't be overly hot. When you're trudging up 10 flights of stairs in the housing projects in the middle of July, it's 105 degrees in the hallway, sweat your butt off with the body armor. There was no body armor, so that was just an option for cops in certain environments. But I always wore the 2 panels for the 2A protection, because the 1 panel ain't rated to stop 9mm rounds in it. My whole career, of all the shootings I was at, that was probably the most common caliber involved in shootings. There were 380s, 25s. Later in my career, right before I retired, you saw 40 and 45 into the fray there. But very many shootings. It was 38 too, 38, 357. But I have to say the overwhelming majority were 9mm, used by the gangbangers shooting up the streets. The purpose of this video is, I imagine if you wanted to buy a soft body armor vest today, you're probably paying $1,500 or $2,000. And say you're some bodega owner or you own a gas station in a high crime area, and sadly, in many of the cities, including my former city, the venal politicians scapegoated the cops and basically have decimated their police departments. They chased all the experienced hands out of the police department, and they can't get anybody to join. So as a consequence, crime is rising and rising, and they're not locking people up, and they're not prosecuting people, and it's having a predictable effect. And it's very tragic. But if you have to live or work in such an environment, say you have to open up the corner store of a convenience store in a city or a suburb, serious crime problem, and you're not even going to carry a gun. This is just passive. This is passive defense. Carrying a gun is active defense. But you could get set upon and robbed or mugged, and then some of these savages will shoot you as an afterthought, even after you've given them your wallet and your money, and you're wearing perhaps some soft body armor. Your life may be saved. You won't want a bullet through your vital organs. The whole purpose is you may run across some old surplus body armor, eBay, an old local used gun shop, a pawn shop, Army Navy store, a retired police officer, not using it anymore. You just got a job as a armed security in a store in uniform. You can't afford $2,000 for a vest. 20-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid, store owner. You're just trying to make ends meet. You can't lay that kind of money out. But you may find an old, 10, 15, 20-year-old, hopefully not a 40-year-old piece of body armor. But that's what we're going to test today. I'm going to use 6 handguns. Some of these handguns were in previous videos. 22 little belly gun I got, a Sterling 22 long rifle, semi-auto. Walter PPKS and 380 auto. I'm going to use the 38 special 2-inch Smith & Wesson Model 15, 357 Magnum Colt Trooper, Glock 19 9mm, 9x19. I got a Taurus, a 7040 Smith & Wesson I got. Taurus PT 24/7 semi-auto pistol, 40 Smith & Wesson, and a Colt 1911 Combat Elite in 45 ACP, full size, government size. I'll take a quick video of the handguns I'm going to use, and all the ammunition is going to be standard full metal jacket loads, 124 grain 9mm, 180 grain for the 40, 230 for the 45, 95 grains for the 380, 40 grains for the 22, 158 for both the 38 and then the 357 Magnum, 158 grain load. I'll run 1 round over the chronograph for each load I'm going to use, just to establish the velocity. The testing, I'm going to have a 40-pound bag of pine bark mulch standing up, simulating human body. The panels will be bungee corded to the 2 panels. The two level 1 panels, you make a 2A panel. We're at HG Handgun 1 panel now, and shoot do the shooting test 1 round, different parts of the vest. Try not to hit in the same spot, and see what we see. Will this 40-year-old body armor stop these projectiles? And this is made by Point Blank. I think they're still in business. A little bit of the history before I get off on a tangent there. One of the big drivers of the Kevlar body armor in the 70s was a guy named Richard Davis. He was a pizza parlor owner, and delivering pizza. He was robbed in Detroit, and I think he got in a gunfight. I think he was shot. He survived the gunfight, and he was driven to create body armor. He finally did. He had a Kevlar. He used Kevlar panels and made Second Chance Company, and he went around the country shooting himself. And I saw him in a seminar one time shoot himself with a 44 Magnum, displaying the complete trust in his product. And that sold a lot of vests and saved a lot of lives. And he's a he's a heroic figure in my book. They tried other fibers. I think Second Chance got a problem with they tried the Xylon, and it didn't hold up like the Kevlar. it was lighter. Everyone wanted a light vest. Everyone wants a piece of paper to stop a bullet. There's always trade-offs, you know. But that's what I'm going to do with the shooting. And I tried a new microphone. This is new from my other set of wireless mics. It seems to work a little bit better. And actually, someone's given me a Hero GoPro camera, so I'm going to try that in my next video. See how that works. If the audio is better or the picture is better or whatever. But I'm going to go to stop the camera. I'm going to show the handguns, and then we'll go to the chronograph, the shooting, and I'll come back for the summary of what we learned with shooting our ancient body armor here. And let's go to the display the handguns. Okay, this is the array of handguns. Some of them have appeared in prior videos. Bottom left, Taurus PT 24/7 and 40 Smith & Wesson. Bottom center, Walther PPKS 380 ACP. Bottom right is a full-size government combat elite 1911 45 ACP. Above it, on the left side, the bottom revolver is a Smith & Wesson Model 15 2-inch 38 Special. Above it, Colt Trooper 4-inch 357 Magnum. A little 22 Sterling pocket pistol, and a Glock 19 in 9mm. And that's what we're going to test the vest with. Okay, at the chronograph, first up is going to be this 22 Sterling pocket pistol. I have 40 grain CCI mini mags. I think they're 40 grain loaded in the pistol. One shot of every pistol. I'm going to zoom in on the chronograph, and you can watch the results. And I'll call out the ammunition and the gun I'm going to use. And I'll try and stick it in the camera frame so the camera can catch the gun before I shoot it. So I'm going to turn the chronograph on. Okay. First up, the 22 Sterling belly gun. (742 feet a second), but that's about all you can expect out of this little 2-inch barreled pistol. Next up, it's going to be a Remington 95 grain full metal jacket 380 ACP, fired out of this Walther PPKS. And it didn't pick it up. I have to get another round. Let me pause this. Okay, PPK, take two. 95 grain Remington. Hopefully there's enough sunlight on it to capture the velocity. .878. And on to the next firearm. Okay, next up. Smith & Wesson Model 15, 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter, 2-inch barrel. .747. The Colt Trooper, 158 grain lead jacket assault point. .457. Next up, Glock 19, 9mm, 124 grain full metal jacket. .1190. Taurus, 40 Smith & Wesson, 180 grain. I think there's a jacket at hollow point. I didn't have any soft points or full metal jacket. 923. And last, 1911, 5-inch, a government model, Combat Elite, and 230 grain full metal jacket hardball, 45 ACP. .838. Let me zoom this out. And get the frame here. All right, and that's a chronograph results of the rounds I'm going to use. Still got to tilt this camera up. There we go. I'm going to set up the target. I'm going to pause this camera, put the camera on the target and explain it, and then we'll get to shooting. This is what we're going to shoot. These are 2 level 1 panels of the 40-year-old point blank body armor. I'm going to try and go up here. Try not to hit the bungee cord. I got a, 40-pound bag of pine bark mulch. It has give like a human body, and a piece of wood just to hold it up. The first up, I'll start at the lowest power, the 22, 380, 38, 9, 357, 40, 45. I think I got that in order. But first up, the 22. I'll zoom in on the target, and you can watch the shots. Okay, back this off a little. There we go. Load the gun. All right, 22 long rifle. I'm going to shoot this very close because this thing's got rudimentary sights. And no penetration. The projectile's stuck in the fabric right here. And it actually hit a little higher than I was aiming. All right, on to the 380. This is Remington UMC 95 grain full metal jacket. I'm going to go below it on the same side. Oh, it stopped it. There's the 380 mushroomed up. And I lost the 22. Flew out. The 22 is embedded here, but there's no penetration. But we'll go over that in the summary after I'm done shooting this thing. Actually, let me pause the camera and mark the 2 shots so I don't get mixed up here and lose them. Okay, we're back. We get the 38, the 2-inch, 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter. I'm going to try and hit around here. I don't want to hit right on top of the previous shots. And I can see from here the bullet didn't go through. It's actually right here. Not bad for 40-year-old body armor. There you go. The Kevlar fibers are stuck in it. Let me mark that. No penetration. All right, I'm going to flatten that out. We're going to do the 9mm next. Okay, 124 grain, 9mm. Okay, the camera's running. My mic is working. Okay. Glock 19. I'm going to try for around here. Yep. Complete stop. Didn't penetrate the panel. The projectile was laying on the table. You see that? It's a deformed 9mm. It's a little warm too. Struck right here. I'm going to mark that. Okay. This is going to be a jacketed hollow point. I don't have any ball ammo for the 40. It's 180 grain. So we'll shoot it, try and go like a here. Okay, that looked like a stop. Actually, the bullet went whizzing right by me. Yep, no penetration. Let me pause the camera, see if I can find a projectile. Okay, that was actually a shell casing that hit the garage. 40 Smith & Wesson. It bounced off, but no penetration. No penetration on any of these rounds yet. I'm going to set this back up because it was starting to get bunched up, and pulls around, bunch back. Next up, it's going to be the 357 Magnum. I'm going to aim about here. He's 158 grain jacketed saw point. Holt Trooper, 4-inch. Ooh, that hit with a little authority. All right, the shock blew the Kevlar out of the rip seam, but it didn't penetrate. No penetration. I don't know where the projectile went. Bounced off the vest though. But that's the 357. Gonna mark that. I pulled the 40 bullet out of here. I could have swore it hit here, but it didn't. All right, 45 ACP, 230 grain hardball. Shoot it on the other side. Ah! I actually saw it fly back, just at my feet. The 45 ACB, 230 grain hardball. Okay. All right, this is the back of the panel I was shooting. This is the level 1 panel, but with the level 2 panel, level 1 panel behind it, it absorbs and no penetrations. And that's 40-year-old body armor. It's 1984 that was manufactured. And it still would do the job if you were, you were shot wearing it. Let me back this camera up. And getting a shot here. These are the two panels, the two level 1 panels. See how thin they are. But together they form level 2A. And 40 years later, it still worked. There's the back of the front panel. There's the 45 strike. In fact, I got to mark that before I forget. I'm going to go back to the summary, clean all this up, straighten all this up, and we'll do the summary, and that'll be, have a few thoughts on that. Okay, I'm back for the summary. Lost the light outside, it's a little dark, but just using the ambient household light here for this video. The demonstration of this 40-year-old body armor, pretty amazing. Nothing penetrated. I did make an error in the video I was shooting. That's the 9mm hit, and I recovered the projectile. It was laying on the ground. The 40 struck here in the video, and I dug it out of the fiber. It was mashed into the fiber, and I confirmed it by measuring the base. The purpose of this is not to do any type of scientific experiment. This is just a practical demonstration of a very old piece of body armor. Actually, I think the 357 Magnum's in his vest. I just felt a lump down here. There's something in here. Let me see if I can slide it up towards one of the bullet holes. Let me pause this. Okay, in fact, I was able to actually recover the 357 projectile. It went in here, and it slid to the bottom. Of the vest. So I was able to push it up and all the way out the top of the vest, out this hole, and that's the 357 Magnum projectile. So I recovered all of them except for the 22. The 22 was flung off after when I shot it with the 380. I should have just plucked it out. It was right in the front of the fabric. The purpose of this is, say you're some store owner or somebody tight for money in a high crime area, and you just want some passive defense in case somebody comes in to rob your store, your gas station, assault you, mug you on your way to to your business. You acquire a used vest, and it might be 10 years old, it might be 15 years old, and will it save your life? It's better than a t-shirt. All right, there's nothing guaranteed, not 100%. Does this mean every old vest will perform like this? No. What you can look for when you're looking for used, body armor, look at the panels. Make sure there's no weird stains on them. That the edge sewing is all intact. There's no funny folds in it or bunches. Chances are it was taken care of then. It wasn't abused. Funny stains like bleach stains, because bleach can degrade Kevlar. Direct sunlight can degrade Kevlar, and that's why a lot of carriers, the Kevlar material's inside. You see these fibers sticking out of the 40 hole? I was trying to cut the projectile out of there. I couldn't get it out of there, so I slid it up to the top, the chest part of the vest. Like I said, this is level 1, and the 2 panels make a level 2A. And I'll read the instruction on the point blank vest 40 years ago. This insert provides penetration protection against only 22 caliber 40 grain LBHB round nose lead bullets, 1,050 feet a second, plus or minus 40 feet a second. 38 special 158 grain round nose lead bullets, 850 feet a second, plus or minus 50, and lesser threats. When the second insert is placed over this one, the 2 inserts provide penetration protection against the 357 Magnum, 158 grain jacket assault point, 1,250 feet a second. That was pretty close to what we fired out of the 4-inch Trooper. 9mm 124 grain FMJ bullets, 1,090 feet a second, plus or minus 50, and lesser threats. And when I used to take this out of the carrier, when I was wearing it, I would just wipe it down with a light disinfectant cleaner. I didn't wash it in a wash machine or anything like that, and wash the carrier that holds the panels in the wash machine. The early armor had no side panels. This just covered your front torso. And you had to get measured, and there was size for you. In fact, this one is 46-48L. And but it is pretty amazing that a 40-year-old piece of soft body armor, Kevlar, still performs. This is the back part of it. There's 0 penetration. All the hits. Let's see if I can go over them here. See on the camera. The 22, the 380. This is the 38, the 2-inch. This was the 40 Smith & Wesson. This was the 9mm. I was a little confused in the video there. That's because I was anticipating shooting at the 40. This is the 357 Magnum. This is the 45 ACP. And I'll give you a close-up of the projectiles. Pull the camera in a little bit. Let's see. Like I said, the 22 flew off on the ground someplace after it was shot with the 380. That's the 380. This is the 9mm, kind of folded over on itself. It's a little bent. This is the 38 Special out of the 2-inch on a 58 grain lead semi-wad cutter. It's that. This is the 40 Smith & Wesson. It's the front of it. It's all rounded up. Roll it around here in my hand. This is the 45 ACP. This actually fell off bounced off the vest and landed on my feet. You know, rounded out. 230 grain full metal jacket. And the 357 I just discovered was in the bottom of the vest and went in the hole and fell down. So I pushed it up through the fibers. It's expanded quite a bit. I didn't measure it, but it's let's say it's probably 75 caliber. 70 caliber. It's folded in on itself. 158 grain jacketed saw point Federal, 1250 feet a second. Like I said, this is just a little demonstration, a little practical demonstration, and you know, you come across an older vest in good shape, and maybe pay $50 for it, and you're in a high threat environment. You know, it's passive defense. There are savage criminals who will murder you even if they get the stuff that you know, you gave them in a robbery. So you can't assume that, you know, you give them your stuff and they just wander down the street and leave you be. So my CZ video had a failure with the microphone. It's kind of low, the introduction. I'm using this new microphone, but I am getting a different camera. Someone gave me a GoPro, and it's supposed to be better. So I'm going to give that a shot next time I make a video. It might be 2 weeks because I'm going away. And I've got to... Yeah, I got to insert this because I forgot to put the chronograph results in. 22 long rifle was 742 feet a second. I think I followed up to 380. It was 878 feet a second. 747 was the 38 Special, 158 grain lead. 158 grain jacketed saw point 357 Magnum out of the 4-inch Trooper was 1,257 feet a second. The 9mm 124 grain was 1,190 feet a second. The 40 Smith & Wesson was 923 feet a second. And the 45 ACP was 838 feet a second, 230 grain round nose. And that was the chronograph results. I left it as one string. Just pause the video, you can read it for yourself. And that's the projectiles that the vest stopped. And that should be it for our video tonight. Will 40-year-old body armor save your butt? The answer today was yes, it would. It would survive being shot by them 6 rounds. If you like the content, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll be notified. I think you hit the bell and you'll be notified when another video comes out. And I'm Old Gun Guy, and signing off. Have a good evening.